everyone. Today we're going to make a cake, a sponge I mean. So you're going to need some sugar, about 300 grams, well exactly 300 grams really, but don't worry if it's 301 or anything, was there or thereabouts is okay. Now, what's next? Butter. Now where did I put the butter?
Cut! Okay, that's lovely, Elaine, that's really great. I wonder if we could, perhaps we could just, should we maybe try and pep up the delivery a bit?
Pep up?
That's right, yeah. Add some sparkle, a little bit of sex appeal. Make it a bit more Nigella.
Well, I don't see how I can...
Well, like, could you lick some cream off a spoon? I mean, not in a dirty way, just in a, God, isn't cooking great sort of way.
But there isn't any cream in the recipe.
Ooh, chocolate then. Melted chocolate dripping off a spoon.
But it's a sponge, James. I don't...
Well, let's just give it a go, shall we? And action!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen, my hot kitchen. So you're going to need some sugar for this cake. Lovely, sweet, sexy sugar. 300 grams. Pop it in the bowl.
Cut! Okay, so it's not quite working for us. How about something different? What about Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, I don't think I could do
Yeah,
that.
of course you can. I mean, not all the swearing and everything, but just a bit more aggression. A bit more, oi, you know?
Well,
Oh, okay, and action!
This is my kitchen, and I'm gonna make a cake for you. You idiots.
Cut!
I'm not sure Gordon Ramsay is really me, you see.
How about Jamie then?
Jamie, you mean?
Yeah, Jamie Oliver. Yeah, I think that's more your aesthetic. Homely, but a bit cheeky. Yeah, everybody's mate. Let's give it a go. Action.
All right then, me old muckers. I've got a lovely jubbly cake going on here today. I've got lots of smashing ingredients. Gonna throw them all in and see what lush stuff comes out the other end. Top banana.
Cut.
Sorry. I usually do this with kids and they're always talking over me or sticking their fingers in the butter. I mean, I could try and do something more motivational if you like, a bit pinch of love, a dash of friendship sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Elaine, just be you. Okay, but not you in front of the camera, just you. Okay, tell me a story about this cake. Pretend it's just you and me here, nobody else. What makes this recipe so special? It's just you and me, Elaine.
Okay. So, the cake I'm making today is a Victoria sponge. And there's probably a story to that, isn't there? Like it was probably made for Queen Victoria or something, I don't know. But it's the kind of cake that writes its own stories, really. It's so dead simple that once you've got the hang of it, it'll become part of the family. I mean, what I love about this cake is you never need a recipe. You just weigh your eggs and then you weigh all the other ingredients to match. So if you've got 10 ounces of eggs, you need 10 of butter, 10 of sugar, 10 of flour, and that's it. I mean, you can add other stuff if you want, but at the heart of it, that's what you've got. Everything the same. It's the kind of cake you can whip up if your sister says she's going to pop in later and not to bother yourself, or you fancy a Swiss roll but you can't be doing with the faff. It's even the kind of cake you can make when you feel those first labour pains and you know it's your last chance to get something in the oven, so to speak. And then maybe things will move on a little quicker than you think they're going to, and so by the time it's cool enough to put the jam in, you're not really in a fit state. So perhaps you'll have to get your hubby to finish it off. And he'll say something like, really, Elaine, do we really need to do this now? And you'll clutch the kitchen counter and say, just put the bloody jam in the cake, Henry. And you'll find later that he was that flustered, he put marmalade in instead. Marmalade, I ask you. And then maybe you'll find out later at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're on your 4th feed of the night that Victoria sponge with marmalade is exactly what you want. And after that, your sponge will be different. It'll be birthday cakes. You'll spend hours shaping it into a dinosaur or a train, and hours more piping buttercream, and it'll be your boy's favourite. I mean, he'll gobble down the carrot cakes and lemon drizzles, all right, but this is the cake he'll always choose. And he'll stand on his little stool at the counter with you and doing the stirring and the tasting, of course, and he'll say, "It's like magic, Mum." "It's not magic, David, it's just cooking." "Oh, it's a bit like magic, Mum," he'll say. "You've got flour and sugar and they're two squished together plants, and you've got butter that's come out of the cow's boobies and eggs that come out of a chicken's bum, and it makes a cake." And you'll have to agree. Maybe it is a bit magic. And maybe then you'll all call it Mum's magic cake, even though it's only a sponge. And then perhaps he won't want his cake anymore. Maybe he won't want to eat at all. "Oh, he's just under the weather," you'll think. Bit of Lucozade and a comic from W.H. Smith, that'll fix him. But it won't. It won't fix him. There'll be this thing in his belly. In his belly where Mum's magic cake should be. And the doctors will come at you with long words and serious faces, and you won't want to look at the cake anymore either. You won't want to stand the sight of the bloody thing. You'll still bake it though. You'll keep making it, because if you don't, you know it's like saying you know he's not going to eat it. Like you've given up. You know there's no point in beating together the butter and the sugar, no point in adding the eggs a little at a time, no point in sifting the flour over and mixing and baking and cooling and smoothing and sprinkling and cutting and putting it on his Rupert Bear plate. No point. And you can't believe that. So you keep on making it. If you keep making it, then maybe he'll eat it. And when he doesn't, you give it to the nurses instead. And the other families, especially the kids that get to ring the bell. The one on the ward that they ring when they're officially cancer-free. And you give it to them because you're trying so bloody hard not to hate them and their healthy little bodies and their happy parents. All the time you think you're going to lose him. You're going to lose him. Your baby. My baby.
Elaine, we
but
don't
you
have
won't.
to...
You won't lose him, and suddenly it'll be him ringing the bell, and he's shy, so he gives it the barest tinkle. So you march right up there and shake that clapper for him so the whole hospital can hear. And for his next birthday, you weigh out 12 eggs and all the ingredients to match, and make the biggest Mum's magic cake you've ever made, and invite the whole damn street round to look at him. Your boy. You'll lose him again, of course, but in the normal sort of way. Mates, girlfriend, off to college, first flat. But it's okay. It's bearable now. And each time you'll make this cake to welcome his friends into the house, to welcome him back from holiday, to make his tiny 2-bed seem a little bit more like home. And one day, maybe, you'll be making this cake at the youth centre where you volunteered to do baking workshops for kids who are recovering from illnesses like the one your David had. And you try and make them smile and let them lick the spoon or splodge buttercream on their noses. And maybe a nice young man who runs the Outward Bound programme will be watching you chatting away, and he'll tell you how his mate's a producer who's wanting to have somebody to front his new daytime baking show. Would you like a screen test? And you'll say no, of course. But then he'll show you a picture of this producer man, James, and God, He'll look so like your David that you'll find yourself saying yes after all. Even though it's silly. Even though it's just a sponge cake. Nothing magic about it. Not really. Okay, so 25 to 30 minutes at 180 degrees. Leave in the tin for 10 minutes and then turn out onto a wire rack to cool. How's that?
Yeah. Should we try Nigella again?